This week, I learned about types of gadget users, gadget specs, what they mean, and what to look for when buying. And I'm sharing them with you.
All right, let's talk gadgets. It feels like there's a new phone or watch or tablet dropping every single week. It's a lot. So today we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to decode the spec sheets and the marketing hype to help you find the tech that actually fits your life, not just whatever's trending. Let's dive in.
First off, let's just try and wrap our heads around the sheer scale here. The portable electronics market, it's not just big, it's a $500 billion global industry. I mean, that's just a staggering number. It covers everything from the phone you're probably holding right now to the earbuds you use on your commute. All of it designed to keep us connected and moving.
A market that huge means you have endless choices, which, honestly, can be completely overwhelming. So the real question isn't about the industry, it's about you. How do you find the tools that are actually going to make your day better without just adding more complexity to your life?
And that brings us to the big idea for today, your digital DNA. It's actually a really simple concept. The best piece of tech for you isn't always the most powerful or the most expensive one. Nope. It's the one that just clicks, the one that aligns perfectly with your lifestyle, your habits, and what you actually need to do.
So this is the key mindset shift we need to make. Let's just forget about the price tag or the fancy brand name for a second. The real value of a gadget comes from how well it solves your specific problems and fits into your daily routine. It's all about personal utility, not just having the fanciest features.
So to figure out that alignment, we can start with these broad groups. Do any of these sound like you? Maybe you're a trend seeker, and tech is part of your social identity. Or a professional who just needs a workhorse that never quits. Or maybe you're a fitness enthusiast who lives for the data. Where you fit in tells us a whole lot about what you should prioritize.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting. Let's look at someone like Opposer Ollie. He's super pragmatic, maybe he only owns the bare minimum tech he needs for his farm. Now, compare him to Ambassador Amanda, who's an early adopter with a whole ecosystem of the latest and greatest devices. I mean, their needs are worlds apart, which just proves there's no such thing as the single best gadget, only what's best for you. Okay, so you've started thinking about your digital DNA. Awesome! The next step is learning to speak the language of tech. We're going to take some of the most common jargon you see on a spec sheet and translate it into benefits you can actually understand and use to make a smart choice.
First up, mAh. That's milliampere hour. You see this number on every single device with a battery. It's really just a measure of how much energy that battery can hold. Right now, for a top-of-the-line smartphone, the gold standard is right around 5,000 milliamp hours. So just think of that as your baseline for a modern, powerful device.
But why does that number actually matter? Well, think of it as your device's range, how far it can go on a single charge. A 5,000 milliamp hour battery, that gives you the freedom of 1, maybe 2 full days of use. This is the spec that directly fights that dreaded low battery anxiety. We've all been there, right? You're in a new city, your phone's at 10%, and you start to panic. This is what prevents that. Next, let's talk about the screen. You'll see these numbers thrown around, 60 Hz, 90 Hz, 120 Hz. That's the refresh rate. All it means is how many times the screen redraws the image every single second. And the simple rule here is, the higher the number, the smoother everything feels. And here's why that's a big deal. A high refresh rate makes scrolling through your social feed or a website feel as buttery smooth and natural as flipping the pages of a high-quality magazine. A lower rate, on the other hand, can feel kind of choppy and disconnected. It's a huge quality of life improvement.
Okay, what about toughness? How do you know if your gadget can handle the real world? That is where the IP rating comes in. It's basically a standardized code that tells you exactly how resistant a device is to stuff like dust and water. You'll usually see ratings like IP67 or IP68 on premium gear.
And this little comparison makes the difference crystal clear. A rating like IPX4 means your earbuds can totally handle a sweaty workout or getting caught in the rain. But something higher, like IP68, means your phone can actually survive being fully submerged. Like that accidental heart-stopping drop into the swimming pool. This is a perfect example of matching a spec to your life.
So now that we can actually read a spec sheet, we can start putting it all together. This is the payoff right here. We're going to build the perfect tech kit by looking at a key problem, a friction point for different kinds of people, and then we'll pick the specs that solve it.
First up, The traveler. If you are constantly on the move, your absolute #1 enemy is the dead device. I mean, there is nothing worse than being on a long-haul flight or exploring a new city and realizing you've got no power, no maps, no way to contact anyone. It's a nightmare.
So, for a traveler, the whole kit is about endurance and portability. That means you're looking for a phone with a massive battery, a high-capacity power bank that's like your insurance policy, and devices that are super lightweight so they don't weigh down your bag. And of course, you'll want that IP68 rating for peace of mind against spills or sudden downpours. Next up, the remote professional. For you, the main frustration probably isn't a dead battery. It's system lag. When you're juggling like 30 browser tabs, you're on a video call, and you've got a giant spreadsheet open, the absolute last thing you need is that spinning wheel of death slowing you to a crawl. Your tech kit has to be all about raw power and speed. We're talking a minimum of 16 gigs of RAM for smooth multitasking. That's the difference between your Zoom call freezing and everything just working. You also want the absolute fastest connectivity, like Wi-Fi 6E to cut through a crowded coffee shop network, and Thunderbolt 4, so you can move huge files in seconds with just one cable.
Now for the fitness pro or the serious athlete. Here, the goal is totally different. Your tech needs to be an invisible assistant. If you can feel it, if it gets in the way of your form or distracts you from your performance, it's failed. It needs to disappear.
So, you're going to prioritize specs that give you accurate data without the bulk. You're looking for an ultra-lightweight design, extreme sweat and water resistance, and a battery that lasts for weeks, so you just don't even have to think about it. And of course, super accurate sensors are completely non-negotiable for tracking your progress.
Finally, let's look at the entertainment enthusiast. For this person, it is all about the experience. You are a sensory purist. You want the deepest, inkiest blacks in a movie, the most fluid motion when you're gaming, and the clearest, most immersive sound you can get.
So your must-haves are all about serving the senses. A high refresh rate OLED screen for those stunning, liquid-smooth visuals. Active noise cancellation in your headphones to create your own personal theater, anywhere. And you need fast connectivity, like Bluetooth 5.3 and 5G, to make sure your audio and video streaming is always flawless and lag-free. So where is all this tech heading? Well, the trend is pretty clear. Our technology is becoming less and less obvious. The future of portable tech is all about it becoming more integrated, more intuitive, and ultimately more invisible. And this leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. We're moving from devices we hold in our hands to devices we wear. Things like smart rings and glasses that are just discreetly monitoring us in the background. As this technology literally moves from our screens to our skin, the choices we make won't just be about specs anymore, but about what parts of our lives we actually want to measure and track. So, what will you choose?
I hope this helps you buy right. Share your buying guide here. I want to know about it too.